Hello, I'm a Grand Champ 3 Rocket League coach. My coaching is completely free, so if you're interested, you can join my Discord, linked in the description, for your own chance to win a free coaching session. Enjoy the video.
Felt really good at this game.
Ooh, that's a bad clear. I really don't like
Yeah.
that. Nobody's challenging, right? So there's no reason to just hit it away, right? Like, play for control. This is where the skills from Dribble 2 Overhaul will come into effect. Right? Instead of doing that, like, if you see this guy turning back down the wall, you can just wait. Because even if he's going to go after this, you know, like, I let opponents dive into my corner, right? If this guy's going to try to get up to the ball while I'm, like, here ready to defend it, he's not going to get a good pass off. He's not going to get it in the net. So I would kind of just wait in the corner and come back down with a dribble. A lot of players do this where they just hit it out. Even if you had cleared this to a better spot, you're still throwing the ball away completely, where you could have played for control of it. And then what I don't like is you have no speed for the challenge. So this is a tricky thing to get right, because you never want to just leave your net open. But this play where you're like tapping your boost here, if you had just found a point to get to supersonic speed and then keep that speed, right? Then you take a slightly wider turn and you want to take a challenge at full speed. The reason this goes in is because you were slow, right? I want to watch it from this guy's perspective who had the ball. It was this guy. You know, he sees you slowing down. That gives him a free flick. Totally avoidable if you either rush him there or if you're taking a wider turn. I'll go back to your point of view real quick. So right here, something that I would have done instead would be, let's take it back a notch, right? So this is where you came through. Even up to here, if you wrap around, right? And we'll go like 50% speed. If you come around and you just sort of get back into your far post a little quicker and wrap out and come facing forward with a little bit of speed, it's going to be a better challenge altogether. Just in general, you approach the ball quicker, you give the defender less time. It also will eventually help your teammate, but what really got it over you is just the standing still here. Any bit more speed and you get up to that quicker. Ooh, tough.
Yeah, I haven't seen the anime, I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a missed save, right? Like, you could, in theory, fix this by just coming in a little bit closer into your net and then coming out. That just helps with the read of where the ball is going. But yeah, that's just tough. Back for boost, nice. Okay. Yeah, you play defense slowly, right? And I think that's going to start to be an issue in this replay, which it's a really, really tricky thing to do, right? Because you want to match the pace of the ball and everything. So the simplest way I can break it down is when you go for challenges, you want to be moving as fast as you feel comfortable when you go for the challenge, but you just kind of like stop here. You don't rush them, and then it's a nice, it's a slow touch, right? And I just think in general, little bit hesitant on defense. You know, you either approach with speed or you want to back off and then challenge with speed, but you just kind of give them the ball. Okay, yeah, you might have hit the nail on the head with what you said your weakness was, because like these are tricky, and it's really hard to like tell you exactly what to do, because each of these shots on your net has been different, right? There's no one answer to all of them. The only common theme that I can find between all of these challenges and saves is that you hesitate a lot. And like even here, right, I think you inched a little bit too close to the middle of your net, to the point where you're waiting for the shot by sort of almost standing still right here. What I would actually do in this situation is not push so far out yet. I would kind of stay at the far post and then make sure to try and time that when I take this challenge, I pick up the speed first and then challenge. So like, watch it again. I just want to show you the point where I think you creeped a little too far ahead is right here. Went a little far and now you're slow. Yeah. Does it make sense? Because these are like very tiny adjustments I'm talking about.
It's like getting better at my brain.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a timing thing, and the problem with the timing is that what you really want is not to get to the ball too early and slow down and wait for it. You want to time it so that you're approaching the ball with as much speed as possible so that you are able to hit it really, really hard when you get there. That's better. is slightly better. You wait for a good time to challenge. So one thing I'll say about challenging too is that the best time to challenge somebody is right after they take that first touch, right? So watch right here. Teammate hits that.
Yep.
As that player takes that first touch, right there is the moment where they have the least control. So I wouldn't even slow down, right? This is a full speed challenge because from this guy's perspective, it takes him a second to regain the control where he can get a good flick on you. Like right here, he still has to set up. You do a decent job of challenging him, but if you get in there maybe like a fraction of a second earlier, that 50 goes much differently, right? I think you just jump over your teammate here. I would honestly just let blue team take a touch, right? Save the boost, try to take a better touch than this, because now you're rushing and your teammate is now in this really awkward position with very low boost, and you've just thrown yourself out of the play, right? So if we watch it from here, takes the 50, he might even still want to follow that up, you know? Let him. Stay back with a lot more boost and wait for a better challenge so that you have all the control in the world and can take a better touch, because here you threw away the ball to the other team again. This challenge, not a fan of this challenge. Same deal, you're just taking off with no speed, you're already beat to it by a mile. I think a lot of the past 2 or 3 plays, you could just like let them throw it away, come back, gather boost, and then come in for a better play. I just don't think that jumping at this was the right move. There we go, there you are. Nice challenge, and this is a nice challenge because look, you're full speed, no hesitation, you save the ball, right? This is better defense because kind of by necessity, right? Because you had to. You're going full speed. You know, you see the threat that it's about to go in your net, so it forces you into making a full speed challenge. This is just so much safer than slowing down and letting people shoot. It should be a goal, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. But yeah, once again, a slow touch. You just don't back up enough. And I honestly think that might be an issue. You're just not backing up enough. Even here, like, it's okay to let the other team get touches and kind of play a bit further back and go for something with more speed or more power. Even, like, the approach from here, if instead you had just done the same thing but just went a little bit further this way and then turned in. Because if you were a bit wider and you turned from here, you're still going to get to that first. You just hit it faster, right? Okay, so here, little rotational mistake, right? If they have that ball, I wouldn't turn on it like this. I would, instead of just turning on this right away, give a bit more space, right? Let your teammate go next after they got the boost. Keep the speed and momentum, because I have no doubt in my mind they're about to hit this over you, right? And then that happens. See what I'm saying? Because the way you position here, you're already rotating off the ball, and then you turn up the field at it. I almost always favor turning around towards my net first before I challenge, and you're just also on the other side. So your teammates going for this boost should be position correct, should be the next one to go, because when your teammate comes in now, they have just a much better angle on this ball, right? That should be for your teammate. You know, they might get 50'd or whatever, but even still, if it comes down to something like this, his nose is pointed towards the other half, your nose is pointed this way. So you definitely should have left it for your teammate. But I think the real mistake happens here when you turn towards the ball from the opposite side of the field, when you probably should have just turned towards your net. And then this is probably going to be a goal, yeah? Oh, close. And this is, again, teammate vision, right? Your teammate's on the ball. Even if he just makes a bad touch, you've now crept way too close. Way too close. You're just like in his area, kind of in his butt right here, and you've left net completely. If your teammate's already challenging the ball, the worst thing you can do is leave at a near post and leave your net open, because obviously what happens, they just get it right over you and they score. I think that, at least in this first replay, is the major theme that I'm seeing in your gameplay, is you're not quite chilling back enough, conserving your momentum and boost, right? You're not hanging on to momentum and boost enough, where then you just get these easy challenges, easy clears. And that comes from getting a little bit too eager and pushing out at something like this. This is the kind of tip where I have to also say, don't overcorrect this now, right? You don't want to get to a point where now you're just not helping at all and not playing offense because you're focusing too much on staying back. I think just a slight tweak, right? In a few more of those situations, you hang out further back on the field, save your boost and your speed, and just wait for an easier ball to clear. I think that would make a pretty big difference.